The holidays are here and you're dating somebody new. Do you buy them a gift for Christmas? That's the topic we're going to tackle today on this episode of Dating at Her Age. And Caitlyn, what are your initial thoughts about this?
I think it all depends. I think that it puts a lot of pressure on people, just Christmas in general, whether you're buying for someone you're dating or just family. And I just think that there's a lot of pressure. So it's a complicated issue, but in this episode, I want to go through how long you should wait. I want to go through different gifts that you can get people that are a little low pressure, a little higher pressure, and what to avoid. But you have an experience with this. So why don't we start this off with what
I went through?
Yeah, what you've gone through. I have a similar experience as well.
Okay.
But I think yours, start with you.
So here's the scoop on what I went through, and I want you to tell me, what would you have done if you were me? But first, I want to start with the context. I dated this man for about a year and a half. We did spend what I consider to be a significant amount of time together. We'd gone out of town several times together. We went out to dinner together frequently, and he was very generous, quite frankly. He usually, almost always paid for dinner. I can remember maybe one time I paid, and we did spend a lot of time together even on the weekends. So we've been dating for about 3 months when his birthday rolls around. And I'm in a little bit of a dilemma here, right? What do? I don't want to go over the top. Right? I don't want to shower him with so many gifts it freaks him out. But I really like him, and we're really having a great time together. So I do want to celebrate his birthday. So what I landed on is I'd buy him 2 gifts, spend about $75 on both gifts combined. And I would bake him a birthday cake, and I would take all of this over to his house, and we would celebrate his birthday. He told me it was wonderful. Like, he indicated to me that I felt like I had made his year just by baking him a cake and bringing him a couple of birthday gifts. I felt really good about it. A few months later, it's my turn to have a birthday. And for my birthday, this man sends me a text message. Happy birthday, in all caps. There's nothing else to that story. That's what I got for my birthday from him, a text message. Now, I'm curious at this point, how would you have handled it? Because there's a lot more to the story, but I want to stop here and ask you, what would you have done if you were me in this moment?
I would have been offended-ish because it's just your energy's not reciprocated and if you are spending a lot of time together at this point and you're, frequently talking and going on dates, then there is a slight expectation for something. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Now, I feel like people can say, you made a great effort to do those things. And some people say, no, you don't have to do anything in return. That's just me wanting to do that. And that's true in some situations, but it always does feel a little like, oh, okay, my energy's not being reciprocated. I don't know what I would do. I'm trying to think of a response. Well, because I think I would be a little like, I wouldn't want to be mean and say anything like, can we go to dinner for my birthday or something like that? But
maybe nudge nudge him on a text back saying, when are you taking me to dinner for my birthday?
I mean, if you want to be sarcastic, sure. I don't know if I'd be bold enough to do that, but but if you want to just be direct and put it out there, like, what birthday plans do you have for me? I don't know. I don't think I'd be bold enough to do that. But yeah, what did you do?
Nothing.
Exactly.
I froze. And what I chose to do instead of, reaching out to him or sending him a text is I chose to look at it this way. Just because I gave somebody gifts for their birthday does not mean that they have to reciprocate and give me gifts for my birthday. And I need to remember that. Gifts are about, so I lectured myself. Gifts are about giving and being generous with somebody else. They're not about receiving. So I chose to basically just let it just marinate. I didn't do anything about it other than pout. I was a little sad. The all caps with the little birthday cake emoji at the end didn't make a difference. It was like explanation point. No, that's all I got for my birthday was a happy. Now, I was just saying, well, did he live out of state? No, he did not. It was a 20-minute drive. Remember, I drove a homemade birthday cake over to his house and the gifts to celebrate his birthday in person. Okay, so let's move past that now. Christmas rolls around, right? And before Christmas, we have a conversation on the phone where he tamps down my expectation for the holidays by saying things like he's not a good gift giver, he doesn't like to shop, maybe I've noticed that he's not a good gift giver, and I felt like this was kind of laying the groundwork for me not to have any expectations whatsoever to get a gift from this man for Christmas. Now, keep in mind, we'd been dating for quite some time by this point. I felt like our lives had intersected to a level where we both should be getting each other Christmas gifts. This was not a doubt in my mind. So I refrained from getting him any gifts, and I feel badly about that because it was more, it wasn't quite out of spite, but I was trying to match his low energy when it came to gift giving. And I wanted to give him a gift. Like, he really meant a lot to me. You know, he meant a lot to me in my life. But I chose not to. And as luck would have it, he was true to his word and he didn't give me a gift. But however, we did go out to dinner before Christmas. And I think he let the cat out of the bag on this. So here's just a synopsis of how I remember the conversation going. So we're sitting at the restaurant and I just casually ask, how was your day? What'd you do? How was your day? What did it look like? What'd you end up doing? He's like, oh, I went Christmas shopping. All right. So apparently he does Christmas shop. Just not for me is how I felt. Yeah. And then he says that he bought a female coworker at the place where he worked a new jacket for Christmas. And what went through my mind is, what in the office gift exchange is going on here?
Yeah. I don't know. This is your situationship experience, isn't it?
It was just, felt like we were in a really, I felt like we were in a really nice, a good relationship at this point.
Undefined relationship, though.
To some degree, maybe.
But I've had a very similar experience to this type of thing. But yeah, that's what you said about matching their energy, I think is the rule that I have learned to follow myself. And that goes with communication. That goes with just planning things. Like, we have to have a mutual effort. And so if we've matched their energy of not giving gifts, it's hard when you're a gift giver, though, and you want to just do something nice. It is really hard. But that's how you can kind of not be as disappointed as if you're both doing the same thing. But the disappointment of finding out they bought for somebody else.
They bought for somebody else and something specific.
Yeah, that makes it a totally different situation.
It wasn't a candle.
Yeah.
Come on, let's face it. We've all walked into the office with a little pack of chocolates or something that we found for a coworker, or a candle, or a coffee mug. It was a jacket. Mm-hmm. And to me, just when I go shopping for coworkers, I don't go looking for apparel.
No, not at all.
I took that as a sign from the universe that this is how this man felt about me. Mm-hmm. And maybe he'd say, no, that's not how I felt about you. I love you. I loved you. But I could not envision myself going through continued relationship with somebody who just didn't acknowledge me on special occasions.
Yeah. And I feel like you deserve someone who somewhat matches their energy, even if they try their best. Like, we know men aren't the best gift givers, I think, in most experiences.
So what would you have done in that moment when you're sitting there at dinner? I about swallowed the chicken I was eating whole. I mean, it was like that moment of, what in the world? What zone am I in right now? Like, we just got done with the conversation about not having high expectations for Christmas and gifts, not a good shopper, doesn't know what to buy for people. But you do.
Yeah.
Because you just told me you did. What would you have done?
I think me today would maybe be a bit bolder than me, say, like 5 years ago, who would have just said nothing. Maybe that's what you did. But I might have tried to say, like, oh, you bought your coworker this jacket. She must be pretty special to you. But not trying to corner them and be malicious. Like the way that I just said that could have sounded malicious, but I would have been like, "Oh, what else did you get your other coworkers?" Like, and just kind of get a little bit more information, and then they would probably melt into a puddle and not know what to say. But I don't want to attack, but I also think I would. Me today.
You would have stood up for yourself.
Yeah, maybe me today. But if you're so shocked, sometimes you don't do it at the moment and you sit and think on it, which I'm guilty of too.
Yeah, well, 2020 hindsight in dating is just incredible.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person the next day that I was the day before where I just shut down. I came up with all kinds of great things that I could have said that would have been effective in the moment, not confrontational. Mm-hmm. But what I chose to do was just to start pulling away.
And that's probably where the relationship may have been headed if he was buying gifts for other females as well. I don't know.
I also wondered, as I look back on that, I thought, well, maybe it's somebody who really needed a jacket, right? And I didn't ask that question either. Maybe it's somebody, in that case, it changes the scenario completely, right? Like I'm being generous because I know this person in my office doesn't have a warm jacket.
Yeah.
And now I'm the one who it looks like I'm bitter about something I shouldn't be bitter about. Mm-hmm. So I do regret not having that conversation. But what I also recognized is this was a pattern, right? This was my birthday. This was Christmas. So it just brings us to this question, like, what time frame is appropriate? And I think if you've been dating somebody a year and you're seeing that person a lot and they are special to you, you're special to them, I see nothing wrong with giving a gift and reinforcing how special they are. Just even a small gift. It doesn't take a lot. That's the thing about gift giving. People can say, I just don't know. I can't shop. I don't know how to shop. We have the internet now. It gives you tons of great ideas about what, a nice little gift would be and what an appropriate amount. Because I also think when you start dating somebody for the first little while, you can go over the top.
I agree. And that can scare you away. It could scare me away.
If somebody showered you with gifts?
I'm not going to say I wouldn't appreciate it or don't appreciate it. I just think it would overwhelm me. Even if they say, you don't have to ever get me anything, it would make me feel like I needed to when I'm not in a financial situation to even just give them like anything extra. Like I could try my best to just be more present and whatnot, but it would overwhelm me if I was getting a lot of gifts every now and then. That's also could be considered love bombing, just depending on what's happening in the situation.
Too many gifts all at once, love bombing.
Yes, which could just mean like it can be good and bad, but if you're love bombing someone, they could just like vanish also and kind of hold that over you a little bit.
That's an indication that they're just spending way too much time and money on you.
And trying to buy you a little bit. But I know there's people that are gift givers as well. And I think that I used to be a gift giver. I still try to be. But those types of experiences that you've explained where you've kind of given and not received back have turned me into not being much of a gift giver anymore because I'm just tired of being disappointed. But that's the thing is like I don't think anyone should be, deny that part of them because that's a great part of you to want to give things to people. And people are most likely super appreciative. But after some point when you do it for so many people, it just gets exhausting. Because I had a situation where I gifted one of my situationship, but also my friend. I told this story in our situationship episode, but where they asked me to be exclusive and then ghosted me a couple weeks later. Well, in the midst of that was their 30th birthday. And so before I got ghosted, I had bought them something just because I was being nice. It's their 30th birthday, also my friend, so I'm going to do that. And then everything explodes, and I still ended up giving it to them. And they obviously didn't give me anything. I didn't get anything for my birthday afterwards and all of that stuff.
How'd you feel about that?
I mean, it was very messy, I guess, in the moment, but it's just...
Messy as in tears?
Messy in just the whole ghosting in the midst of it. But then I still saw them a couple weeks later because I'm their friend and it was their 30th birthday. But I'm still a good person, so I'm showing up and I'm giving them the gift that I already bought them. So, do
you think about returning it?
I thought about it, but I was just like, whatever. I'm just going to take the situationship part of this out and just look at my friend. And it's their 30th birthday, so we're just going to give them this gift. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't spend that much money on it, but it was just the concept.
The gesture.
Yeah. But I don't know. I would often buy just smaller gifts for even just my guy friends, like very small things. And I stopped doing that because I didn't really get that in return from anybody. And now I'm just kind of like, if there's like 5 people in my life that I really want to invest in and give gifts on, I think that that's going to be worth my time than trying to find all these small things for people. But yeah, it was like a disappointment, but also not surprising type of thing at that point.
Was it a wake-up call for you in terms of running out and spending money on a man?
Yeah, I think kind of hard about that now, and if it's worth my time and if they're actually going to stick around. But I don't think that you have to buy somebody something in order to let them know that you care about them.
I was thinking about this. You're saying if you don't have the amount of money,
yeah.
I think that there are options out there to still show that you appreciate them, that you like them, that you want them to have a great birthday or a great Christmas or whatever the occasion is without going over the top. But before we tackle what the experts are saying about gift giving, and we're going to go into some great detail in just a few moments about some gift suggestions and how much to spend or not to spend, and how many months you should wait to give gifts. There's all kinds of information out there that we've compiled. We're going to talk about that. I want to just take a step back for a moment and ask you, $75 that I spent on 2 gifts approximately and baking a birthday cake for him within the first 3 months of dating. Do you think that was over the top? Honest opinion. That's a yes. That's a yes.
No. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't do the same, but I think I would have cut the gifts in half and just done one. Because I think
one gift.
Do $30 gifts, $35 gifts, bake a cake. I think that's fine. But I'm also
you don't have to qualify it. I think that's a great answer.
I think $75 is a little much to spend on that time. But if I don't know, it's kind of hard because it depends on where you're at in the relationship. And I don't know if it necessarily means a time frame. It just means like the level of commitment. And
see, I will say to myself, I didn't go over the top on that in the moment. I'll say that to myself. But hearing myself talk about this now, saying this out loud, I went over the top. I just did. $75 doesn't necessarily buy a lot in today's dollars. I understand that. But there's plenty of things I could have bought for him for $25.
Yeah.
$30. I went over. And that is an issue that I have dealt with for my whole adult life, is going a little bit over, not way over the top, just a little bit over the top. And I think it's just a bigger issue here that we probably need to have time set aside in an entire different episode to talk about. It is that my need, actually, I had a therapist many years ago tell me about this. It's called love money. It's called love money. And what you do, or what I was doing, is buying things or giving things to get loved in return.
I understand that. Yeah.
So even I don't think $75 is like, that's not too much, But as I talk about it now, and I'm wiser in my post-divorce dating life, I'm thinking, yeah, it was too much. And maybe instead of a cake, bake them a cupcake.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's
no,
where
I
you went over the
cupcake.
top. It did take time out of your day.
Oh, it's huge.
But
well, I do layer cakes.
That's a different level. I would have bought a cupcake, but I'm not that type of person.
I do layer cakes, so this is quite involved. And I'm telling you, if that cake did not come out of that round pan perfectly, I threw it out and I would start again. I'm a little bit funny that way. Some people would say I'm obsessed. Yeah, this takes a lot of time and energy, and then you got to wait for the thing to cool before you can perfectly frost it. Okay, straight ahead, let's talk about what the experts are saying when it comes to gift giving around the holidays and relationships. That's next.
Welcome back to Dating at Her Age. Today we are talking about dating and the appropriate time to give gifts as we are in the midst of the holidays. And Debbie and I have both been gift givers in the past that led to disappointment. without receiving a gift in return. But I also I want to make it clear that just because we do that, maybe there's somebody out there that's going to reciprocate our energy. So I don't feel like you should be invalidated by doing this. Well, listen, I have received gifts and I appreciate it, but I also think there's a level and how much you should do. So.
I also want to just make, on a personal note, just because we're talking about this does not mean that my expectations, I know your expectations are probably are off the charts ridiculous.
Right.
Like, jewelry and new car. No,
absolutely not.
No. I'm talking like if you got me a pumpkin spice candle from Target or Walmart that is $10 or less, I would be thrilled.
I agree.
It's really, in my book, it's something my mom taught. I'm sure your mom taught you the same thing. It's the thought that matters.
Yes.
It's the thought that counts. I truly live by that.
Yeah.
It's just, you thought of me. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It could be a $10 box of chocolates. It is not about gold digging over here. I'm not gold digging. I am just looking for somebody to match my energy. And I'm wondering, do I react too soon in a dating relationship to want to buy gifts? Did I wait the appropriate amount of time by giving a guy I had been dating pretty consistently a birthday gift after we've been dating for 3 months? But according to this 2019 survey from bustle.com, no, I did not. No, I did not. If you need some reassurance for how you're doing things, you just look at the internet. So they actually are quoting a survey from a dating app in the United Kingdom, but we're just going to apply sort of the same data to what we're talking about here. And 76% of responders, they asked more than 2,000 active users, so it's a good number of people that they ask. 76% believe gifts are necessary for relationships of 1 to 3 months.
See, and I don't know. I'm conflicted on that. That's
1
a pretty
month
high
feels
number.
too soon.
1 month feels way too soon. What is the gift? Is it you buy me a cup of coffee or something? That's fine. That's great. But just like giving too much could scare somebody away. But also, I almost feel like as we're talking, we're both suppressing the idea, like how we give gifts and don't get it in return and trying to make it seem like we did something wrong when I don't think we did. I just think that the other person kind of just wasn't capable of doing that.
Well, maybe they didn't do anything wrong either.
Yeah, maybe they didn't. But I feel us both trying to like justify like what we did. But no, I don't. I just think it's the type of people. So there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, it's 76%. 1 to 3 months. I don't know. That's kind of
1 month is too soon.
1 month's too soon. 3. Maybe small gesture, but that's like the thought that counts.
You know what I would do if I was dating somebody for a month to 6 weeks and their birthday rolled around?
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of unfortunate timing. I think sometimes I have taken, I'm off dating apps for the record right now. I'm off dating apps. I have been for a while, but I intentionally don't get back on dating apps like weeks before my birthday for this very reason. And great, I've been dating, I'm 8 years plus post-divorce, so I've been on dating apps for a good chunk of that, on and off. I intentionally don't get right on a dating app like 2 weeks before my birthday because that just makes somebody feel really uncomfortable. Oh, it's my birthday. What are you taking me to dinner? So I would just buy them something small. Like maybe you figure out that they love dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Right. And you go buy them a $5 chocolate bar or something really small to say, hey, I'm thinking of you. Although in that early of it's 1 month to 6 weeks, you're in the talking phase,
yeah,
right?
You really
You're not
are.
really, so that does feel a little, maybe even a little much. 3 months, yeah, I would say after 3 months, I feel comfortable. I'm right in that zone with the 76%. 3 months is spot on for me. Going back to the story that I told off the top of our segment about the guy I dated, $75 about that I'd spent on 2 gifts. I'm going to take your advice. Cut that in half. I think $25 to $30. Even dealing with inflation, you can find a nice gift for somebody for $25 to $30. 8% would buy gifts within the first week of dating. Hold your horses.
That's scary. Unless, are you saying you bought them like flowers? Because sure, if you're trying to swoon someone, that type, which flowers are expensive. Yeah,
what would that be like? That's weird.
But like if it's a very small gesture like that, but like I said, flowers can be expensive. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know. Like depends. Is there a holiday or is it just a random gift for fun? Because that's great, but
14% consider waiting up to 6 months to be appropriate. That feels a little 1980s to me, waiting 6 months like there's some sort of, but there might be a good reason too. You want to figure out if you're on the same wavelength, if they're going to stick around. But, again, you don't have to spend a lot of money. And I would, I know we're going to get into some data and from the experts that says don't spend a lot of money. And certainly, kind of make sure you're both in on it. That's one of the steps that I missed early on. It's like, how do you feel about gift giving? Or your birthday's coming up. You want to celebrate it. And see, I really wanted to make his birthday special. And I guess I just figured if I made his birthday special, he'd make mine special. That happy birthday text was super special.
At least he remembered that.
Yeah. So 14% say wait 6 months. That feels like
it feels
long
long. I think that it all just comes down to the level of commitment you guys are, like the couple is at. And communication. Ask. I think that it's great to ask.
So the big payoff here for us in this portion of the survey is, what about Christmas? Well, the general consensus is buy gifts if dating for 12 weeks before Christmas.
12 weeks is probably like maybe have the conversation. But Christmas is also a hard holiday because you have to buy for so many other people. So it's like, do they need to be looped into the Christmas list? Because a lot of the time, the people I'm closest to, we are like, no, we don't need to buy for each other because we're fine. We have
because you're friends,
and these are my friends I'm talking about. But like, we don't buy Christmas gifts for each other. We're just fine. Or like, if I'm feeling super giving, I might do like cheese and crackers or something like that. But I don't. Yeah, 12. I mean, sure, have the conversation. 12 weeks, I think, is a decent amount of time. But
they do say in this survey, timing considerations. New couples often use this time. So when we look at the length of time, I guess that's what it means by timing considerations. New couples often use this time for cozy indoor activities.
And that's what I would prefer. Not even cozy indoor activities. Maybe movie night is great, but I think let's buy each other hot chocolate and drive around and look at Christmas lights.
I love that.
That's what I want to do. That's a great idea. I want someone else to drive me around. That's the one thing I'll ask for.
If you add donuts to the hot chocolate, yes, I'm there.
That sounds great.
Yes. They talk about watching movies, Christmas movies together. So, yeah, I think there's some great tips there on how to deal with gift giving. The thing is after 3 months together, Christmas is approaching, and that's why we're talking about this. If you've been in a relationship or you've been dating somebody for 3 months, the consensus among people who were asked, who are using this dating app, said, yeah, lean into purchasing a gift. But there's more. According to women.com, let's move over to their December 2023 article on this, women.com. The level of commitment matters more than the duration of dating. That throws a whole new curveball at us.
I agree with that, but that's why don't buy your situationship a Christmas gift. And if you don't know if you're in a situationship, we have a whole episode on that.
Yes, go back and listen to that. Caitlyn did a great job defining situationships.
I think if you haven't defined the relationship, you don't need to be buying each other gifts. Unless it's, like I said, small gestures. You buy the person flowers or something like cheese and crackers or just something very, very small.
This is another tip. Wait until about 10 days before Christmas to make gift decisions.
Yeah, because depending on where the relationship's at, I think things could shift. And you could get a feel for where they're at as well.
Here's a pro tip. Save the receipt.
Yes. Save the receipt.
Save the receipt. Don't lose it.
Always save the receipt.
Just in case. Just in case you text him or her to set up the meetup before Christmas and you don't hear anything back. Save the receipt. Early gift giving, November or early December, may create unnecessary pressure.
Yeah. I can say that I think if I was gifted a lot, which I may have just said this, it will overwhelm me and it will make me feel like I'm not doing enough, and it'll just put pressure on the overall situation because I'm not in a financial situation to buy a lot of things. And even if you say you don't need to get me anything, I'm still going to feel bad. And then it may feel like they're trying to buy you as well, and they're trying to put pressure on moving faster than you want to. I've seen it with my friends. I've seen this happen before. So you mean
to tell me if a man shows up in your driveway with a new car,
I'd be like, that's great, but no.
Take it back.
Because I think that I would just be using them at that point, because I'm like, I don't even know how I feel about you, but you're trying to give me this gift.
The other recommendation is match the gift to the current relationship stage.
Yes.
So going back to your new car in the driveway.
Yeah, that's
probably
marriage.
Shouldn't be.
That's not even marriage. That's retirement and married together.
keep gifts simple and thoughtful if feelings aren't fully established.
Yeah.
So what they're saying, you haven't proclaimed, you haven't said, oh, I'm in love with you. Or how do you feel about that? Oh, I feel great. We're going to move into the next phase of this relationship. Just keep them simple and thoughtful. That goes back to the candle, the pumpkin spice candle I talked about.
Yep. Or just taking me on a drive.
Avoid overly romantic or expensive gifts in the early dating stages.
Yes, I think overly romantic would have the same. Well, that's the car example, I guess. But overly romantic would make me feel. I think I might just be a little bit. I'm a very slow burn person, I'm learning, as I'm trying to put myself out there.
You're in a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, I do think it takes me a while to really establish, not even just a connection, but to really get myself to the point of commitment. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you just got to feel it out and figure out how you feel about things. But if you give a very romantic gift like a diamond bracelet or expensive, that's going to just make me feel bad about myself.
Is that love bombing? Is that what you call that?
I think it depends on the intent behind it, but I think if it's happening a lot, then yes.
You feel overwhelmed by the number of gifts.
They're trying to buy you. I've just seen it happen where it's a lot. It's expensive gifts, like a new pair of boots that are over $100, things like that, and it consistently happens. And then what love bombing also comes with is the reaction after, if they can kind of use that with you if they disappear, and then they can kind of hold it over your head.
Oh, I bought you a bunch of gifts.
It's love bombing at first, and then it kind of turns into something else. But I think that's just my concern with that. But yeah.
Let's go over the inappropriate gift types. Again, we're still talking about this women.com article. We got great tips on giving gifts, not giving gifts in the early stages of dating. Inappropriate gift types, what to avoid. Expensive jewelry, we talked about that. I like this one. Avoid this. Far future dated event tickets.
Awkward if you break up, which is very smart. You can always sell, if you get a concert ticket from a year from now, but I don't think you should buy that unless you're in an exclusive relationship and you plan with to be with that person for the next at least 5 years or so, just depending on when it is.
So I've had experiences with concert tickets, not that I've gone out and bought future dated concert tickets for, somebody I'm dating. But concerts get delayed.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not always, but the singer comes down with strep throat or whatever, and they got to delay the concert. I had to wait 2 or 3 years for a concert once. So when you go out and buy that, you don't know. And then, for something like that, it's tough to resell.
Yeah. Well,
I think
you
that's
can
a good
resell
point.
it. But
You can, but I think it's a good point. Plus, what kind of message does that send to if you're in the beginning stages of dating and somebody buys you concert tickets from a year from December?
Yeah, I expect you to be in, which, that's great intention, but it's pressure.
It's sweet, but it's also pressure. Long-term travel plans.
Same situation, but travel though. Like I said, depends on where you're at. If you trust the person, do you want to go on a week-long trip with them or a weekend trip?
Let's say you book a cruise, and even if you both pay for your share of the cruise package, and you broke up, you don't want to be stuck on the cruise with that. Right? I think that these are great. These are to avoid.
Just
Run.
don't do
them. Why don't you go over now the list of alternative gift ideas that they offer?
Okay. So the first one they have on here, books aligned with their interests. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like a good coffee table book.
Yeah. Well, I like books. The books can be, I don't know, it depends on what you buy. They can be fairly affordable, though.
I do a lot of my books on Audible now or Spotify on the audiobooks. But I do miss the old school way of reading. So I think it would be sweet if somebody went to a bookstore and picked out a book in a genre that I was interested in reading.
That is pretty thoughtful
effort.
now that you think about it, because they have to really think about if you would like this book and if you like the genre. Like, I think if you knew me, I mean, I like a variety of books, but I like horror books and like thrillers. So if they actually like got to that depth of me, I would think that was thoughtful.
I think it'd be even more romantic is there's so many cute mom and pop bookstores around anymore. There's the larger, of course, bookstores, but mom and pop bookstores that you can find in smaller communities. It would be fun to take a drive and buy books together, sit and read. And that to me would be perfect in the early stages of dating.
Yeah, just a coffee date, walk around the bookstore, buy me a book.
I think what we're getting at here is it's more than just running around trying to figure this out on your own. Is that, hey, ask them, is this something that you would want to do? And let me make this your Christmas gift. And you could even, I think it's fine to acknowledge, I just feel like we're kind of at the beginning stages. I really like you, but I don't want either one of us to go over the top, spending a lot of money. There's a lot of pressure on Christmas. There's a lot of money that goes out the door. I was going to say out the window, out the door. But because sometimes it does feel like it goes right out the window.
Yeah, well, it does.
That let's just make this really a special, memorable day for both of us. And let's just go to this really cute bookstore. Like Caitlyn and I, of course, both live in Utah, and we have been noticing a lot of social media posts about these quaint bookstores in different communities. And you and I will message each other back and forth when we find one. And I think how romantic that would be.
Yeah. And
for
I think
a new couple to
that
do
just emphasizes like, I would rather get more quality time with the person instead of just be given a gift that really is like great and thoughtful. But I'd rather get to know you better.
How about bringing them, I've done this before, a platter of food. And let me explain what I did. I've baked a big pan of lasagna for a guy I've been dating. It's, again, my love language. It was homemade lasagna. You are welcome. It was amazing. And it's hearty, right? And it's a bachelor. The guy's a bachelor. So he's going to be able to live off of this for like weeks because he's going to freeze part of it. But this is, first of all, lasagna is not easy to make. I know most people don't have any idea about that. So they don't realize the amount of love and effort that goes into that. But it's also not cheap to make. Yeah. So a pan of lasagna, or something that's really going to be something special. It's going to cost you $15 or $20 to make it. Maybe not even that much. I don't know. I'm really good at bargain shopping, so I might be able to do it for 10. But I think is that not a nice gesture for somebody you've just met?
I think it's a nice gesture. I think I don't know how to make lasagna.
You don't have to. You can make
cookies. I don't know the work. But that's what I'm saying. I think my version of that would be like cookies or cheese and crackers or a cheese platter or something like that.
Do you think that's a good gift?
I think so. That's what you get like your neighbors. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant for this person you're seeing. That's just someone who's in your life.
A charcuterie board?
Yeah, like that's the type of gift neighbors get for each other. So
here's another gift idea: near future event tickets. So you can get them event tickets, but don't put it 6 months out.
Yeah, I like this idea. Because like right now it's basketball season, so there's like Utah Jazz games here. I would see something like that. Like I have these tickets and I want to take you to a Jazz game, or I'm just using that as an example. Any sort of event that's in the area that also doesn't have to be extravagant. But I think if it's 1 to 2 weeks away, sure, it's date night. Make sure they're available, I guess. But I think that's fine. I mean, maybe it's extravagant to some people depending on the cost of the ticket, because some of these events now are really expensive. But maybe it's just a concert in the park or something like that.
Something low key.
Yeah.
But thoughtful.
Yeah.
Here's one: acts of service. So helping them with house repairs.
Yes, 100% yes.
No, I'm the opposite of you on this. Go ahead, I want to hear this.
I don't own a house though, so.
But you need to have stuff done.
I need help. I'm
know you've dealt with your car issues.
Repairs.
Yeah, we all have.
Just buy me some fog light covers that fell off 6 months ago that make my car look like it's falling apart, and I haven't bought them. They're like just.
How did I not know this?
Because
I'll put it on my
I don't
Christmas
care
list
enough.
for you.
No, my mom already acknowledged it when I came back from Thanksgiving.
Good for Mom.
I don't know if she's actually buying it, but I was like, I didn't care enough to put those back
Windshield
on.
wipers?
Yes. I mean, those, and they can be expensive, but maybe I buy the windshield wipers. You help me put them on if I don't know how. You help me.
What if they cleaned your car for you?
Would love. I would
you
love
they did
this.
it with you.
Yes, I would love this. And if you do it by hand and you don't have to like buy me a detailing service because that can be expensive, but like, just help me clean my car. That's the kind of stuff that I like. It's like, help me defog my headlights. Everyone comments about that on my car too. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. Do you want to help? That type of stuff I would really like, but why are you against it? I think I just am struggling
because
in life,
I've cleaned the houses of men as a gift.
Okay, valid.
And this is an act of service. That's would fall under that. I've cleaned their homes. I don't think I would do that again. I've been, so just a quick back. Maybe I'm a little bitter about it. I've been cleaning homes since I was, before I was 10 years old. And so I'm pretty good at it. But I don't love it. And I find myself falling into that as a way, again, that's my love language. Here comes Debbie. She's going to clean your house, dirty toilets, dirty mirrors, dirty floors and all. I do that. I also happen to like being in a clean home. So that's probably part of just in the fabric of who I am. It doesn't have to be museum clean, but I do, like the feel and the smell of a clean home. So if I'm spending a significant amount of time with somebody, after I've met them, I don't go the first weekend. Like, oh, forget date night. I don't want a coffee date. I'm just come clean your house. No, it's I wait, several days, months before I show up with all my cleaning supplies. No, I feel like I have outdone myself on this. I don't expect any guy to show up and start cleaning my house. I don't know why I would expect myself to clean his house. So acts of service to me, could it be watching their dog? Yeah, that would. Yeah. That, if they need to go out of town for the night or need help because they need to go to work unexpectedly and they don't have a sitter for their dog. Absolutely. But I've got to cut myself off from that.
I agree with what you just said. I don't really want to deep clean anyone's house either. I would help them and work together if that is something that they actually felt overwhelmed by.
Like until you are solidly in a relationship and you want to have that conversation about like, look, I just feel like this house could use a really good deep cleaning. Can we go at this together? Like, that's different than you've been dating for a while. And as a gift, you're going to show up and clean their house. I've stopped doing that. Now, I'm also a lot older than you are, and I've been down this road a lot. Yes, I've been down this road a lot, and I realize I do have to set some boundaries for myself.
Mm-hmm. I also think this also, for me, depends on how much you know the person, and it depends on the level, because I don't want to just invite anybody into my house, if I'm saying that for an example. But when it comes to things like my car, I have a friend who fixes all my car
I think that's a super sweet idea.
But yeah, if it's things that I really am not, like I don't know how to do anything, and they are just willing to help me with something, I think that's okay, but it also depends on how long I've kind of known them and where I'm at with that.
I also know that it's these little things like the fog light covers that flipped off your car and haven't been replaced that nag at you.
It is.
Right?
It's nagging.
It's nagging at you. You don't think about it every minute of the day, but when you see your car, you're like, I'm bugged by that. And I haven't taken care of it yet, and I don't know how to take care of it. So when somebody steps into your life and says, let me buy those for you. I don't know how much they are.
I could buy them.
Just $20 each. Yeah, whatever they are, $30 each. And then puts them on. They're doing more than just giving you a gift. They're giving you a sense of relief.
And I feel like that might actually be my love language, or one of my love language, as we're talking about it, because it is acts of service. And I think that that's something that I really do like and appreciate. But yeah, there's a level to it, but just helping somebody with something that is overwhelming them, I am okay with.
When we come back, let's turn to our social media. You posted a question on our Dating at Her Age page, our Facebook page, about giving Christmas gifts and giving gifts. And we've got some comments. We'll look at those and get our listeners, our Dating at Her Age followers on Facebook to weigh in next.
Welcome back to Dating at Her Age. We are talking about gift giving when it comes to dating, as Christmas is here. We're going to turn to our social media pages to get input from all of our followers and listeners to see how they feel about gift giving.
So you posted a question on our Dating at Her Age social media, which you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. What was the question you asked, and what did the responses look like?
I put out, should you buy the person you are dating a Christmas gift? Just to keep it simple. I wanted to know kind of why too, but this one person, a man, said yes, kept it a simple response. One other person, a woman, said depends on how long they're dating. If we got together 2 months ago, that could be weird with expectations. If we've been together for, say, 2 years, sure. So that's
she's
commitment.
looking at an 8-week time frame, and most of the people in that survey said if you've been dating, 12 weeks out to get a Christmas gift. So she's right in that.
Yeah.
She's 8 weeks, a little too soon, maybe.
Yeah. And I think that if, 2 years, sure, there's probably a better expectation there. And hopefully you've had a conversation about it.
Sure.
One other says yes, even if it's something small. I think this goes back to the thought that counts.
That's right. That's the pumpkin spice candle that I would love if somebody showed up to give me, right? It's $10.
Yes.
I also posted my story on my TikTok page, and I so far have had 2,200 comments.
You've got a lot. Well, I posted this an hour ago, so you've got a leg up on me.
Well, we won't have time to go through all 2,200 comments, but I so appreciate those who weighed in and follow me on TikTok and just decided to post a comment. This person says, I would have at least baked a cake and presented a gift of some sort. It's really not that hard. Speaking to, I didn't get a birthday gift, and I didn't get a Christmas gift either from the man I'd been dating. This person says, I would have at least baked a cake and presented a gift of some sort. It's really not that hard. And that's where my mind goes. It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are people who want to overcomplicate the idea of going out and buying a gift. So they give you a myriad of excuses as to why they're not qualified. They don't like to shop. They don't know what to buy. The reality of it is there's so many options, and there's stores everywhere. And if you don't have a store in town, there's online options.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a simple gesture, if someone picked up a rock and said, this made me think of you, I'm not even kidding. I would be like, aw, that's great.
One of the commenters on my TikTok page suggested, I said, what would you have done if you were me? Much like the question I posed to you early on about this relationship that I was in, didn't get a birthday gift, didn't get a Christmas gift. She said, run. She said she had years in a marriage of no gifts and didn't feel special or thought of. And that is a really difficult way to live through your relationship journey, is not feeling special, not feeling like they thought of you.
Yeah, it really does matter in a relationship, because if it's one-sided, you're just not going to be happy. And it falls on gift giving, it falls on effort in making plans, and that's, nobody wants to be stuck in that.
This person on my TikTok page said, wow, that had to hurt.
Yeah.
So he acknowledged that, or she, I guess I don't know if it's a man or a woman who posted this, acknowledged that my feelings mattered. Oh, that made me feel good. I'd probably just fade off from that person without giving any explanations.
And that's what you did, right? Kind of.
I did. I faded away.
I agree with
and
that.
And I've been faded away.
Yeah. It pushed you away.
I disappeared eventually.
Yeah.
Sure. This person said, don't make someone your priority while they keep you as an option.
Yep.
I felt that.
I know a lot about that, but that's situationship.
And then this person commented, I would have ended the relationship, which seems to be what you have done.
Yep. I think that these comments are these mostly women or men?
I have a variety.
Because I think that
a lot of women, but I also see a lot of men who've posted on here as well.
I think that men can also feel the same way when they're givers. So it's not just a woman thing.
I
know that it exists, but I think it's just effort, mutual effort. And that's why I didn't want to downplay that we are good people when we want to give these gifts. And we may make it seem like it's over the top, and maybe it can be depending on how long. But just because we want to give something to someone and they don't reciprocate, it doesn't mean that we did anything wrong, but it also doesn't mean that they did either. But that's where the communication comes in. I think it's really important to establish where you're at on both sides.
I want to just take this moment with a final thought on this. And that's for some people who are dating, this can be a really difficult debate in their head. Like, do I buy? Do I not buy? How much money do I spend? Am I going to spend too much? I mean, it's not going to be enough. First of all, I want to make sure we all recognize that dating costs money. It just does. Whether you're going out for coffee dates or you're going out to dinner, if you're dating somebody and you're trying to court them and you hoping that this leads to more of a long-term relationship, so you don't have to keep putting yourself out there on dating apps. And eventually, I think that's the goal a lot of people have is, I got to get off dating apps now, and I want to find something that is truly special and is meaningful, and a person who can grow to understand me and I can grow to understand them. That even buying something little for a person a few weeks into dating is not over the top. And in fact, you will probably be making their day, their week, their month, their year. And acknowledging them with something small, a small gesture, is just so incredibly, I think, important in dating relationships if you want it to last. It's not buying their love to go out and buy them something that you've paid attention to. By the way, I think this is a great cue. If you're paying attention to what they're telling you about their life or what they love, what they like to eat, what they don't like to eat, and then you lean into that as a small gift, I think that's absolutely wonderful. And I think the world needs more wonderful.
Yeah. I agree with everything you just said, because if there's small gestures, I love them. And so I don't want to say, like, don't. If you're dating me at any point, like, I don't not want to be given things, but I also think that there's a level, because I can't always return extravagant things, but thoughtfulness and small gestures are great.
And going back to that comment that I got on my TikTok page where this person said, wow, that had to be hurtful. When I read that, and I hadn't really considered my own feelings in that moment, I realized, it was hurtful.
Yeah,
it's hurtful.
Definitely is. You just feel it's like it's a rejection, honestly, because you did something and they did it for somebody else, but not you. It's rejection, and it hurts, and it's okay that it hurts. And I think that it's unfortunate that those types of situations have made us probably both pull back on being who we truly are and wanting to give things to people, but it also helps us come into reality that you don't have to go super above and beyond early on. But
so for Christmas, Caitlyn needs new fog light covers.
Yeah.
For those of you keeping score at home.
My mom called me out when I was leaving. She was like, "What are those? I'm getting them for you," because I don't care enough.
Oh, when you saw her Thanksgiving, she noticed?
Yeah, as I was leaving, she was like, "What is going on with your car?" And I was like, "I don't know. They fell off." And she was like, "Send me what they are. I'll buy them." Because they're really not that expensive, but they're like $30 or something. But not my priority. I'm trying.
Now we just have to find you a date so he can put them on your car. Maybe something you could do together.
I can figure that out, but I've got my resources as well. But yes, I would appreciate the help. That kind of stuff really does help me when I'm just overwhelmed with life. Like, just, buy me dinner when I don't have the mental capacity or energy to feed myself, because I do that all the time. So that kind of stuff is very helpful for me, but like no pressure at all, because I struggle to return the favor sometimes. Thanks for listening to Dating at Her Age. Chime in with your take on this topic. Do you buy the person you're dating gifts for Christmas or any other special occasion? Give us a call at 801-575-5599. That's 801-575-5599.
Or you can send us an email at daha@ksl.com.